if I'd have kicked myself into this sort of gear when I was sort of 14, 16 rather than 18, 19, I could have been in a very different place. But hello boys, how are we? If you're new here, I'm a psychology student trained to be a therapist, so on this channel we talk about everything from mindset, lifestyle, well-being, progression, health and much more. So if that sounds interesting, stick around. Today I wanted to go through a bit of a blueprint. As you guys know, anyone who's watched the channel, I go to university at the moment, but I actually didn't start till I was 24. I'm now nearly 27, so most of the guys I go to uni with are nearly a decade younger than me, which is quite weird to think about. But what it often gets me thinking about is how I would do things differently if I was that age again, if I could go back, or what I'd sort of maybe advise those guys to do. And honestly, a lot of sort of young men who go around YouTube looking for videos like this, sort of what advice I'd give in those situations, if they are sort of at the, what you'd say, rock bottom, sort of maybe unemployed, living at home, no friends, no social life, no gym, no nothing like that, and if it was to literally start from zero, step by step, what would I recommend? The three areas you need to get sorted to get to an absolute base level where you can move from there are your income, your health, fitness and your social life. We'll start with income because in the short term I believe it's what's most important. What you're going to want to do, hop in the shower, spruce yourself up, get a little haircut, trim up, put on some nice clothes. You're going to walk up and down whatever high street is closest to you, or village, or wherever about you live, and you're going to go look in the windows of coffee shops for any open positions for baristas. This might seem like a weird suggestion, but let me sort of talk you through my reasoning. First things first, it requires absolutely no skill or experience, and they will take people of any age. So anyone watching this video, you could be 14, you could be 45, if you're in that position, they're going to want to talk to you. There is such a staff shortage in that area, in the UK, in the US, I can't speak for everywhere, but in general those kind of jobs really struggle to find people. If you were going to go look for maybe like a trainee role in sales or something like that, or maybe a different area, maybe working in a bar or something like that, quite often they're going to want someone young, to be quite frank, young and maybe sort of previous experience. Coffee shops and places like that will take absolutely anyone who is willing to get up and do the work. Second reason, key part that I mentioned there, getting up. A reason these places really struggle with staff a lot of the time is it is often a sort of 7 AM, 6 AM start, which means you are waking up at 4:30, 5 AM, and a lot of people just aren't willing to do that. But for me, this is where working in a coffee shop comes in over other places. I'm guessing if you're watching a video like this, you're not someone who is in the habit of getting up first thing every morning and doing something with yourself, because your life probably wouldn't be in the state it's in if you were that kind of person. So having a job in a coffee shop where you maybe have to be in there at 6 AM or 6:30 to open up or start, that's going to get you into such a good habit of getting up early. If you are someone who can get up that time in the morning, you are just going to naturally have an advantage on anyone else. And it is purely the fact that you've got out of the habit of it. Everyone is capable of waking up early. If you're someone at the moment who just sits up till 3 AM watching YouTube videos, that might be what you're doing right now. Obviously you are not going to be waking up at 6 AM, but if you have a job that requires you to be up at 6 AM, 5:30, once you start getting into the pattern of going to that job, you are naturally going to start falling asleep earlier because your body will just be exhausted. You're going to get yourself into a better sleeping pattern. That's far better for you than working in sort of retail or working in a bar or something like that, where the hours are the complete opposite, where you might be working 6 PM till midnight. I know people have sort of different views on this, but I personally think just in terms of getting your head in the right place and getting your body into the right kind of rhythm, you want a job that starts early, finishes early. I know retail can be a job that starts early, finishes early, but frankly, just from anecdotal experience, people that work in retail absolutely hate it. It's miserable. You don't want a job that makes you miserable. Working in a coffee shop, yep, you're always going to meet idiots no matter what line of work you work in. But normally, first of all, at that time in the morning, people are probably just going to say hi and bye. They're not going to even have the energy to be rude to you. And second of all, people that are getting up at that time in the morning and getting themselves coffee are other people who are normally doing something themselves and doing something for their life, and aren't the kind of people who are just going to be horrible to you for no reason. In terms of softer skills that come sort of with the coffee shop, First of all, it's a skill that's very easily learned and very, very transferable. If you've been a barista in a decent coffee company for sort of 6-9 months or something like that, you might decide tomorrow that you want to wake up and go and be a barista on the other side of the world. That is skills that you can take with you, and those sort of unskilled labour jobs are actually going to be much easier for you to get a visa or something like that than if you were just another salesperson trying to come over. A coffee shop is also brilliant because we'll go on to discuss later about moving on to a role to earn more money. If you do get another job and it goes horribly wrong, you're always going to be able to get a job in a coffee shop, and the more experience you get, the easier it's just going to be. In terms of sort of just bonuses, being able to make coffee and being able to make good coffee and knowing the difference between good coffee, and that's a really good skill to have. You look cool. If you're out dating, going to different coffee shops, your friends are going to love someone who can make a decent cup of coffee. If you're the guy who, when everyone's hungover in the morning, they've all crashed at your place and you've actually got decent coffee, you're going to be an absolute lifesaver. On top of that, a job that, as I said earlier, a job that finishes earlier gives you your evenings to socialise. Realistically, what time does a coffee shop sort of shut? 3-4 p.m. So even by the time you've sort of washed up and done all the closing up and everything like that, you're going to be finishing up at 5 p.m. latest probably. That gives you your evening to socialise, go on dates, go out with friends, have a few drinks, whatever. That's the income section sorted for now. We'll come back to it later when we're talking about moving up in life once you've sort of got your experience there and can go on to better earning jobs. Second area is fitness. This one's pretty easy. As soon as you've got an income, you can afford a gym membership. This isn't a health and fitness account, so I'm not going to start talking about the specifics in there, but I'll link someone below, my guy Charlie over at Living Lean, who does all the fitness plans and diet plans and everything like that. As soon as you're earning, you can get a pure gym membership for £15 a month, probably even cheaper depending on where you live. Only takes a few hours a week. Get yourself in shape. It's just going to get your head in the right place, going to get your body in the right place, and you're going to feel better for it. You can afford the healthier food, you can afford the better food. No takeout crap or just eating crisps or whatever all the time. That's pretty much that section sorted because there's not much else to say about it. Third area is social groups. So you've now got disposable income coming in, you've got a decent job, getting in the gym, getting your head in the right place, getting your body in the right place. Now you want to make some friends. So if you're someone who's still at school or still at college, this is going to be pretty easy. Get chatting to people at school. I don't care if you go, oh, I'm the unpopular kid. You're not anymore. You've got a job, you're in the gym, people are going to start liking you more. Just how it is. So, start having conversations with people. Start striking up conversations with guys you hadn't spoken to before. Second thing, you're going to find sports teams and join them. Again, whether that's at university or just locally, there will be someone. I don't care if you say sport's not my thing. Again, you're in the gym, you're going to start getting that addiction to exercise. Sport will become your thing. You don't necessarily have to play. As you guys know, I don't play, but I'm still a member of my sports team at university, and that's my entire friendship group here. Maybe reading or Dungeons and Dragons is your passion, and you can join the Dungeons and Dragons Society as well, but also join a sports team. I don't care if it's something, even if it's tennis or whatever, and it's just that you're meeting up once a week and having a hit. That is just a good way to form a friendship. Second of all, this is linking back to what we said earlier about the coffee shops, and I said I'd move on to it later. So, you are working in a place, especially if you get a more high-end coffee shop, which I'll talk about in a sec about why that's important. You are going to be meeting people there who, again, are likely to progress in your career. If you're up at 6 in the morning going into Starbucks or something like that, you're likely up for work, you're up doing things. Even if you're working for yourself, you're up and about. You're going to meet people there. Talk to them. Make friends with the guys that you're serving, especially if they're your age. Strike up a conversation. If you see a guy every day who comes in first thing and just sits there on his laptop, ask him what he does for work. Ask him if he's building his business or whatever like that. If you can get away with it, give him a free coffee now and then. Make friends with him. That's another reason you want to be in a coffee shop rather than a pub or a bar or something like that. The circumstances and the type of people you're going to meet are just going to be a bit different. Something I forgot to mention earlier in terms of the specific coffee shops. In terms of buying, I always try and go to an independent coffee shop. But for working, you want to go with one of the big boys. This is for two reasons. One, and most importantly, is the training. Especially somewhere like Starbucks has world-renowned customer service training. If you have done customer service training with Starbucks, that is going to open so many doors for you going forward, because they really teach you how to get through very complicated, very different situations. Besides the actual making coffee training, the interpersonal skills that you'll learn there will be unbelievable. Secondly, again, if it's one of the bigger boys, they're going to have branches all over the country, all over the world. Like we spoke about earlier, if you were someone who potentially wanted to move away, go travelling, move to a different country, they might be able to ring up their Australia office or ring up their Texas office or whatever and go, have you guys got any baristas needed? We've had a guy who's worked for us for 6 months, really good, and he's planning on moving over there. Bang, you've got a job sorted before you've even moved. Obviously this isn't an overnight process. This could be a 6-month journey that we're talking about here, but in 6 months time, 6 months is still going to have passed. But how are you going to have used them? Are you going to have used them doing this, or are you going to have used them doing something else? Once you've got yourself disposable income, got yourself in good shape, good physique, good health, and a good social group, you're set. That's all you need for life, really. Honestly, that is all you need. From there you can take over the world, you can go anywhere you want. But realistically, those are the 3 pillars. There's absolutely no reason, once you've been in your job for 6 months, 9 months, a year or something like that, and you have actually got a bit of a CV behind you now, there's absolutely no reason you can't start applying for other jobs. You'll have better confidence, you'll have better interpersonal skills, communication skills, customer service skills, bit of sales. Equally, you might absolutely love it there, and you might go, do you know what, I am quite good at this, but I don't want to work in a different industry. You could end up being a manager, regional manager. There's progression within. The most important thing is you get started, because it's so easy to just sit and stare at your laptop screen or your film screen every day, doing nothing, just applying for jobs and never hearing back from them. Get up, get out, just get yourself on the ladder so that bank account is ticking up a little bit. The important thing to remember, don't be a knobhead. As soon as you start earning, don't start just go out spending it as quick as it comes in. If you've got debts, if you've got things you need to pay off, if you've got rent to pay to your parents or whoever, get that out of the way first. That is your priority. You want to be starting from a comfortable base where you're saving, not just staying afloat. That's pretty much it from me. I know it's a bit of a different video to what I've done in the past, but it's just something that I've been thinking a lot about recently, and frankly going to uni, it's something in a way that I might have to do. I'm very fortunate that I worked for years before I came to uni, so I had a bit of a CV, but I got a lot of that through sort of connections and friends and a bit of luck, rather than me actually going out and sorting it for myself. If I'd have kicked myself into this sort of gear when I was sort of 14, 16 rather than 18, 19, I could have been in a very different place. But that's why I want to pass the lessons on to other people. Thank you for watching. If you did find any of it useful, please do consider liking and subscribing. As always, comment any other opinions you have below, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, take care, lads.